Okay, this is Mohamed Salah talking about the last game against Aston Villa. He said, I've witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All teams win games. Liverpool will always be a club that means a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for long after I've moved on. As I've always said, qualifying to next season's Champions League is the bare minimum, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. Frank LeBuff is joining us. Luis Garcia is still with us, but I do want to start with Stevie Nicol here to ask you what you've made of Salah's comments, why he's done this.
Well, I don't know why he's done it, and I can't tell you how disappointed I am that he's done it. You know, this is not somebody who's had too many beers and writes something that they're thinking about. This is calculated. And why are you going and criticising, particularly the manager, when you're still at the club? I mean, I don't understand. You know, for a guy who doesn't really speak out, who doesn't have anything to do with the media, certainly has very few interviews in his whole career, and I remember his time at Liverpool, and he comes out with this now. I can't tell you how disappointed I am. I mean, it's just... He is somebody who every single Liverpool fan has looked up to ever since he put a red shirt on. And he's done nothing but give his heart and his soul and everything to Liverpool and Liverpool fans and Liverpool Football Club. And to do this now, right at the end of his time at Liverpool, I think is it's just complete and utter madness. And I don't understand. Is he angry? Is he angry at the manager? I mean, come on. Why? I don't understand why he's doing it.
It's not the first time he's criticised Slot this season. I remember back in December he did the same thing.
I know, but this, you know, everybody's looking forward to saying goodbye to Mohamed Salah. So why do you want to go and tarnish it? Because there will be some who will be looking at this and going, hold on a second, why are you criticising our club? We all know it's been a tough season. We know things haven't gone well. We all know that Arne Slot hasn't done a great job this year. So why are you shoving it down everybody's throat? I can't tell you how disappointed I am in it. You know, I think the guy's been absolutely superb for Liverpool. He's been a fantastic player, and up until now, in my opinion, he has conducted himself at the highest level. And then he goes and does this. I'm sorry. I don't get it. And I hope some of his teammates give him a little bit of verbals, because he deserves it.
Luis, you're also a former Liverpool player. Do you feel the same as Stevie about this?
I'm not going to be a fan of making statements during my career, to be fair, or to talk about what is happening on the team. This is a new generation, a new way of managing what is happening during the games. Thing is that you are part, and Mo Salah is part of the team during this season. And if you complain about what is happening around the season and how the club has to be conducted in the future and everything, but you've been part of this year. It hasn't been a good one, but not for him, not for many of the players into that squad. So I think there is something there between him and the manager. Don't forget that they have a leader controversy or argument in the period when the Champions League, when he was a part in one of the games, and he came out and he did that again. I think not in the right moment. A comment about his situation, trying to get in conflict with the manager. He was suspended for a game, and then he went to the national team. So I think it's something there that is been dragging him to make this kind of statements. And we can understand the situation. We can understand his frustration. But again, I'm not a big fan of coming out and saying things or bad things about a team that I'm still being part of, that still needs one more game to be played, and that I've been probably one of the leaders, one of the players who, for many fans around the world, you are a person to respect, a role model, as you've been for many years. So I think it's not the right moment. I think it's not the right comment. But again, it is a new generation, a new way of expressing themselves on social media and in some kind of these interviews. So we need to respect his opinion, as everyone else has got their own. But I'm not a big fan of these kind of statements before a situation or a game that you need to continue playing.
Especially when you're moving on as well, Frank. What do you think of him making these comments, and why now?
Why now? I don't know, and I think it's really sad. You just show at the beginning of the show, you know, Lewandowski leaving, Antoine Griezmann leaving, and being honored by the fans, the players, the chairman, and even the coaches, and that's absolutely fantastic. And you have to forget about that. You have at some point being a little bit political. If you're Mo Salah, say, okay, it wasn't a great season, I wasn't at the best, and I've ended up on the bench, and Arnaud Slot doesn't like me, but who cares? And as Stevie and Luis alluded, you know, you play for a special club. Liverpool has always been a special club with a special atmosphere with the fans and everything. Forget about the last season. Just remind the people what you have achieved with the club and what you've done for them, and how big you have been for them, and just smile. Just smile, say goodbye, and you're going to be honored. And because within 10 years, we already remember Mo Salah, the great player that you have been for the whole time that you play for Liverpool. So it doesn't mean anything. It's useless. It doesn't bring anything good. And it will leave a little bit of bitterness in people's mouths when they will talk about Mo Salah, because yeah, that was great, but the ending and the exit wasn't that great.
Yeah, breakups are messy and full of emotion and full of bitterness and grudges. I wouldn't know this, but I've been told that that's the case. And it is difficult to stick the dismount in a breakup. And Mohamed Salah clearly did not stick the dismount here, did not stick the landing. I believe he's thinking he's doing the right thing and taking the position of our club, and those that come to our club, Liverpool, should be held to a standard that this club demands. And the way I took his messaging is there's some grudges and there's some bitterness as to how his end to the club was handled, and those players that came into the club were given a benefit of the doubt that they hadn't earned, and him, who had done so much for Liverpool, was not given that same benefit of the doubt. And there is something to be said about pride. And when you feel like you've done so much and it's not being recognized as such, it's so very difficult to see the whole perspective and to see the whole picture. You're seeing this season, and what matters to you is what happened this year, and you've forgotten all about the glory years that you have had with this club. So to Frank's point, yes, there is something to be said about being politically correct in this moment, understanding that there have been some failures, that it's not just the club failures, it's not just the new players' failure, it's also been your failures because you haven't been at your best either. And maybe this time you cannot take a step back, allow the season to be played out, and then as you move on and you take all the love that is coming for you from the Liverpool fans and supporters, then maybe in time you're able to sort of kind of look back into this and have a much better perspective. But this is coming from him being left out at the wrong time by Arne Slot and other players that came into the club, being put into his position, and him thinking those guys do not appreciate Liverpool like I do. They cannot do it like I do. And as any player knows that have been left out, there's always something that sticks right there in your soul, and you have to let it out. And he has done so here, and he's wrong for doing it.
You know the other thing that I thought about? Liverpool have had so many fantastic players over the last 40 years. You know, the whole thing started in the mid-60s, all the way through to when I left and Liverpool was struggling, and then they came back again, and then they struggled again, and then they came back under Klopp. the amount of quality, world-class players that have been in the very same position that he finds himself in now. His time has come. He's on the back end of his career, and it happens to every single one of us as professionals. But at Liverpool, there have been so many stars who have finished their time there and haven't been regular starters, have gone through similar things that this guy's gone through. And how many of them do you remember coming out and criticising the club or the manager or the team or anybody else? Because you don't do it. It's called class. It's called class. That's what it's called. And he has shown in that statement he doesn't have the class of his former veterans at Liverpool who showed absolute class, who were in the same position, and I'll repeat it. Because when we all come to the end of our career, the only thing that happens is you end up on the bench and then you end up not even on the bench. And it happens to us all. And so that is a lack of class from Mo Salah, which I can't believe I thought I would ever say that.
And Champions League is not guaranteed just yet. There's still a game to win next weekend, Stevie.
Well, exactly.
What does this do?
Exactly. So you talk about, I said it, it lacks class.
Obviously, it doesn't help matters, Luis, right now. Liverpool are in fifth as it stands right now, and it's okay. It's Brentford that they face next week, but they do have that pressure to ensure that they get a positive result with this as the backdrop, Luis.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to win it. And I think we've seen during the whole season that it doesn't matter, again, who do you play. You can face a team and not win it, because they have to struggle so much to win against teams like this, teams that they are dynamic, teams that they are good in transition. And it doesn't matter if you play against Arsenal or if you play against Brentford. If Liverpool doesn't compete the way they have to do, we saw it last weekend when we thought that maybe they have the opportunity. They start well, but during the game, in the end, the lack of presence up front or not finishing their options, and they couldn't get the 3 points. So in the end, it's about trying to give everything. And we go back to the talks or the statement of Mo Salah, shows that you are not focused on really what you need, because you can wait until the end of the season once you are qualified for the Champions League, and then throw everything that you need there inside, throw everything that you can feel, those emotions. And the guys, I think that they were spot on were talking about, once you finish, you cannot be remembered just the last year. You have to think about what you've done for the club, or how important you've been, and the love that all the fans. So you have to be grateful. And we had a fantastic example of Griezmann saying, being grateful to the manager, to the crowd, actually apologizing to the whole crowd when he left for Barcelona. Lewandowski exactly the same, because the big players, they got not only to be grateful about it, but need to show they are massive platform for the rest of the young generation that they are coming, to show the respect to the game, and again to always work and talk as they are icons and people who the supporters follow for the rest of their lives.